Charlotte. Thank you for coming along. And this is just a short session on developmental psychology. And the session aims to define developmental psychology and talk about two of the key theories, behaviourism and psychodynamic theory as well. I'm going to achieve those aims by covering some basic objectives. And these are, I'm going to define developmental psychology, I'm going to define behaviourism, and also identify some key psychologists in that area. I'm going to look at classical conditioning and illustrate this with a simple stimulus response exercise. I'm going to define psychodynamic theory, identify key theorists, and state 3 parts of the personality. Okay? So developmental psychology. This basically studies the process of going from childhood to adulthood, covers the whole life cycle. Covers physical, intellectual, social and emotional changes that occur throughout the lifetime. So does anybody know of any particular areas of developmental psychology? Either the specific names, the age, that comes in from, yeah, that's within the psychodynamic. But those are stages, yes, we'll come on to those later. Any more general terms of how you develop throughout your life cycle?
Social learning theories.
Social learning, yeah, exactly. So we've got social. And before that we've got childhood. Sorry, did somebody say something? Developmental, yeah. All of these come under developmental. Social. How about within the mind? What happens within the brain as you develop? Mature, yeah, mature into adulthood.
Maturalisation.
What's that, sorry?
Maturalisation. Is it maturing?
Maturing, yeah.
Yeah, maturalisation. That big word.
We'll put mature now.
Yeah.
And with the mind developing, we call that the cognitive development. That's a big area. You also developed in terms of your intellect, yeah?
Sorry. Can you change the pen? Because I can't really read it.
Can you not see that? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still tired.
That's better.
I know, I'm sure what to do.
We've got intellectual development.
Oh, that's better.
It looks like the most important now, but it's not. Any others? In terms of how you live within society? Ideas of right and wrong? Develop those? Emotional, yeah, that's a big one.
What about society in general? Or is that not common?
Yeah, we've got social and society, but in terms of how you live in society, you've got your moral development, so learning what's right and wrong. And probably the final big area is in terms of your sex and gender, so developing as a man or a woman. Okay. So that's developmental psychology. First of all, we'll look at the behaviourism side of things. And behaviourists believe that psychologists should study behaviour that you can see. So animals, humans, pretty much the same. You're looking at what takes place, the physical things you can see. Does anybody know any behaviourist psychologists? Any names? Pavlov, yes.
Skinner.
Yeah?
Watson.
Yeah.
Who? What?
Pavlov, Skinner and Watson. those are the main ones. Thorndike as well. It's another one. Those three are the main. So we'll come on to Pavlov as the main one, because he developed the theory of classical conditioning, and because they believe everything is behaviour, they think every behaviour has a cause, and it's all about stimulus response, so a cause and a behaviour. And all behaviours are learned from the environment, so it's all very much external. Something happens and you respond to it, or you see something and you respond to it. So, Pavlov, does anyone know which experiment he's famous for?
The
Dogs, yeah. He was actually studying dogs' digestion, not psychology at all, and he noticed that the dogs would start to salivate before they even had the food with them. So he carried on experimenting to see what would cause this, and he found that you could associate a particular stimulus to cause a response that it wouldn't normally cause. So if you associated the two stimuluses, you could actually change the response. So very much learned on what's happening. So, first of all he had the food, and that would make the dog salivate. Then he combined the food with a different stimulus, a bell, and that caused the same response. And eventually he could take away the food, and that will cause the same response. Now, if anybody's got a cat, or even a dog, it's this basic idea, which is even in the advert. When you shake the food, they come.
As soon as I shake that,
Yeah,
cats everywhere.
flying through the house.
Oh, the advert, they'll go through the windows.
Yeah, flying over
They
the
do
walls,
that. They
the
can
windows.
actually do that.
No,
Mine
they
does
can't
that
really
as
do
well.
that, but they will.
They do anything. But that's obviously not food, that's just a noise.
They associate.
Yeah, they've learned that that means food. But you can train
No,
them as well,
as soon
which
as
is
I
quite
open the
good.
door. Cupboard door.
One.
Cupboard door, yeah. Pavlov saw it he started seeing it first of all with the bucket. As soon as they saw the bucket or even heard his footsteps. And then he changed that to the bell, which had nothing to do with the food at all to start with, but you could combine that. So I've just got a few cards to go through. Probably have to work in sort of fours or something. Just check everybody's got enough.
2, 3, 4, 5. Antoinette.
Yeah.
This one's for you, mate.
Are we working in 4, yeah?
Yeah, I think if you do fours,
And today,
see how we get on. There's some cards.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're working in 3.
Yeah, if you just do that
No,
there.
that's fine.
It's
It's
only
fine.
So you got
There's about people like lads sitting there. You guys are like, go from something this thing. And they're like, what did she say? Like, hey. They're like, how many wives?
It's
3.
Mark, isn't it?
You'll get up, she was.
So you've got a mix of cards there. Just literally spend 30 seconds, a minute or so. And they're a mix of stimulus and response.
So he goes,
Okay.
You written it out.
Wendy,
Bell, celebrate too. Bell, celebrate.
are you okay? Do you need to join in with those? Join us in the recording.
You went Bell, celebrate.
I need to record my.
No.
Basically looking to fill this group. So you start with your 2 stimulus,
Oh, sorry,
Okay,
what's
so
that?
We're going to
Three
Yeah, we'd lay them out as if you're going to fill this quiz. You start with with the first stimulus and response that Pavlov would, then the combined and the response, and then the final stimulus and response.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if that's living, salivate.
Salivate.
So bowel, salivate, and then.
It's bowel salivate. It's the end in bowel salivate. No, it's bowel salivate. Because the bowel would make the dog salivate. Disregard anything. Yeah, bowel salivate. Because if you make the dog think that it's going to get food,
Everybody ready?
the bowel will make them think.
Food will cause
Salivate.
bowel, food. Yeah. Anyone over here?
I told you.
The other way around.
Bowel salivate, yeah.
Bowel salivate.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So that just demonstrates. And obviously that's more for the animals. For humans, it's exactly the same. And it's what happens really with advertising as well. Which if we look at that, stimulus response. Unless you don't like
That does
McDonald's.
nothing.
You like McDonald's, that'll make you hungry.
Upside down, though.
Okay, so that's behaviourism. Everyone ready? Very much cause and response based on external.
That's 15 minutes.
Okay. So psychodynamic theory is very much the opposite, and completely opposite to behaviourism. It's based on internal processes, not external. It's based on what's going on in the mind. Everybody's mind is the same, so we all develop in the same way. Obviously, these areas that we covered do vary a lot in terms of culture, background, countries. Different countries have different ideas of when childhood ends, what's right and wrong, but the psychologists look at it in terms of how we learn, not what we learn. So it doesn't matter that it varies across cultures. So psychodynamic is within the mind, and who developed psychodynamic theory? Freud, yeah. Anybody know any others?
John, was it Carl
Jung.
Carl Jung.
Yeah.
Melanie Klein was another one.
We've got Freud, Anna. Yeah, there's a few Freuds.
Anna Freud.
And like you. Erickson as well, another one. Okay. And Freud believes there's three parts of the personality. The id, ego, superego. Yeah.
It's funny.
Basically, the id is all about desires, instant gratification, pleasure. You want food, you eat food. The ego is all the planning, thinking ahead, consequences, and the superego mediates between the two. And there's a very quick video which demonstrates this, which I'll just see if I can show you. This is the marshmallow experiment.
Is it Chinese?
I'm a nice person.
You've got to turn the volume up on the YouTube.
It's down there. On the YouTube thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Where's the dog? What?
I don't think we've got any volume, but you can see anyway, it's quite a physical demonstration of the superego.
And here's the deal. You can either eat it now, or you can wait till I get back, and you can have two. Okay? So eat it now, or wait till I get back, and you can have two. I'll be
Basically
back
told
when
you
I
can have one straight away or two later on.
Yep, if you wait, you get two, or you can eat it now, whichever you want. Okay? I'll be back with it.
You can practically see the ego being demonstrated on their face as they battle between eating the marshmallow or waiting for two. And then they start looking in and nibbling it.
But if you wait until she gets back, she'll give you two.
Okay.
She still won't give you two because you ate it.
It's okay, let them watch the end of it, honestly.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It does go on for quite a while, but I'll leave you for you can watch these two then, because these two are the best.
I didn't eat a single bite.
He really tells them as well.
No, sure.
And they've done this with adults as well, and it's practically identical.
I would be really bad with
It's the
On you
same.
go. I would be like, trying to do that when you're looking at it.
He looks so cool, doesn't he?
You only get that one.
You are not getting another one. I'll share it all over with you.
This guy looks so self-control. He's funny.
Voices in his head. Okay, so I have this marshmallow.
So the little boy was a bit more progressed than his sister. He was a little bit more progressed than his sister. She was younger and he could explain a bit more, but she just ate it.
I can
anyway.
imagine my girls being like that. My eldest would be like, you eating it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch it.
But that's as they go through the developmental stages as well, which Freud identified, which we mentioned earlier. Just quickly, we've got the 4 stages of development. We've got the oral stage, age about 0 to 1, everything's food in the mouth. Go on to the anal stage, age 1 to 3. Phallic stage, 3 to 6. Latency, 6 up to puberty. Okay. So we'll just have a very quick recap. We've covered developmental psychology, basically studies physical, intellectual, social and emotional changes that a person goes through. Comes under these main headings. Covered behaviourism, stimulus response, and we've covered psychodynamic theory and the 3 areas of the personality. Okay, so quick quiz, just to recap very slightly. What type of conditioning did we look at? Classical. There's also latent conditioning as well, which is more about voluntary responses. Classical is quite about reflexes.
Is that the same as operant? Yeah, it's
Operant, yeah. Who undertook the experiment with the dogs? What are the 3 parts of the personality called? Yeah. And which part of the personality can we see on these children's faces? Ego. Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
No.
He'd want it. I want to say.
I want that.
Ego sort of battling on their faces between the 2. Okay. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Can we have some marshmallows?
Yeah. We'd have been here all day, wouldn't we? With the marshmallows.
I get hard for the sugar.
If anybody's particularly interested, there's obviously, you can watch the whole experiment on there, that's called the Marshmallow Experiment, and any further reading anybody wants to do. The Richard Gross book, Psychology, covers all aspects, and that's got a great developmental psychology chapter in as well. Okay, thank you.